Trying to escape the chaos of touring and reconnect with herself, Taylor Swift quietly returns to a coastal town where she once spent her childhood. Without even telling her manager, it's a foggy, gray morning. She heads out for a walk, notebook in hand. That's when she notices an elderly woman seated at the edge of a weathered balcony overlooking the sea. Her gaze is locked on the horizon. She's completely still, dressed in a laced shawl, with a yellowed letter resting gently on her knees. The next morning, she's there again. And the morning after that, same spot, same time, 10 a.m. Taylor senses there's more to this silent ritual. The exact same seat, the same letter, the same stillness, every single morning. She begins asking around town, but the locals offer only vague responses. That's Miss Helen, been doing that for years. Her husband never came back from the war, but she still waits, every day, same time. Taylor can't shake the feeling. This isn't just a routine. It's a memory frozen in time. That balcony railing doesn't just hold a woman. It holds a love story that refuses to fade. And that silence, it's not just old age. It's the echo of someone who's begging not to be forgotten. One rainy morning, Taylor gathers the courage to approach. It's just before 10 a.m. Helen is already seated, unmoving. Taylor gently says, "Good morning." Helen doesn't respond, but without looking up, she reaches out and hands Taylor the letter clutched in her hands. It's dated 1952. "I'll be back soon, Helen. Be on the balcony at 10. Seeing you there will be my reason to live. Thomas." Taylor reads it slowly, her hands trembling. The paper is old, but the emotions are piercingly fresh. Helen still says nothing, but the silence speaks, and every word of that letter echoes louder because of it. That night, Taylor visits the town's small, dusty bookstore and pieces together Helen's story. Her husband, Thomas, went off to fight in the Korean War. He was declared missing in action. His body was never recovered. Ever since that day, Helen has kept her promise, waiting at 10 a.m. every morning on that same balcony, in case Thomas came home like he said he would. Back in her room, Taylor gazes out the window at the rain-soaked streets and asks herself to spend a lifetime waiting, to hold on through endless silence. Is that love, or a quiet kind of punishment written by time? The next morning, at exactly 9:55 a.m., Taylor stands quietly outside the apartment. The rain has passed. The air is cool but calm. Helen has left her door slightly ajar. With a gentle motion of her hand, she invites Taylor inside. The moment Taylor steps in, she realizes time has stopped in this home. In the corner, an old record player. Next to it, a neatly folded military uniform. On the wall, a faded wedding photo. Shelves lined with unopened teacups, carefully arranged notebooks, and boxes filled with yellowed letters from Thomas. Taylor sits in silence. Helen moves to her chair by the window. The same balcony, the same hour, 10 a.m. Without a word, Helen opens the same letter, just like every day. Then she turns to Taylor. Her memory drifts in and out, but some moments remain crystal clear. "Thomas said he'd return by ship. He told me to wait until the sea calmed down. It's a little calmer today, isn't it?" Taylor doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. In that moment, she understands Helen hasn't just remained loyal to a man. She's remained loyal to the life they never got to live. Each day, something slips away. Yet Helen stays, as if her presence can hold back time itself. Helen reaches for an old postcard, sent from Korea, a painting of the sea, the waves frozen in brush strokes. On the back, a single sentence, "Wait for me with this view, Helen." Taylor is shaken, not just by the story of one woman, but by the weight of every life like Helen's. This house isn't just a home, it's a monument to lost time and promises held like sacred relics. Even after returning to Los Angeles, Taylor can't shake the echo of Helen's story. Her silence, her balcony, her worn-out letters, they haunt her, quietly but persistently. She lies awake at night, wondering how many others are still waiting. And so, she acts. She calls her team, requests access to old military records, uses her resources to dig through archives for anything on Thomas. After months of quiet work, a buried detail finally surfaces. Thomas was listed among a group of soldiers buried in unmarked mass graves, men who never made it home. Their identities were never confirmed. Taylor feels her chest tighten. Thomas had been officially declared missing. Yet Helen, for decades, kept believing. Not for fame, not for closure, but for one thing: to be there every morning at 10 a.m., just in case. Taylor returns to the seaside town with a box in hand. Inside, files from Thomas's final deployment, digitized versions of his letters, and a photo she'd taken of Helen's balcony. The same chair, the same hour, the same silence. Helen answers the door, confused at first, but when their eyes meet, she remembers. "I searched for him, Helen. I found the trail. Your wait wasn't in vain." Helen's eyes fill with tears, but she doesn't cry. She simply nods. "I always knew. But now that someone else knows too, that's enough." She glances at the clock, 9:58 a.m. Without a word, she walks slowly to the balcony, the letter in hand, the sea before her. Taylor stands behind her, silently. In that moment, the balcony becomes more than just bricks and railings. It's a sacred altar, built on decades of love, loss, and faith. Because sometimes, a person lives an entire life for just one sentence. Beyond the balcony at 10. The next morning, at exactly 10 a.m., the balcony stood empty. For the first time in years, Helen wasn't there. Sometime during the night, she had drifted off to sleep in her favorite chair, wrapped in her blue robe, Thomas's yellowed letter clutched gently in her hands. She never woke up. Taylor received the call. She didn't speak. A lump rose in her throat, but she didn't cry, because beneath the sorrow was something else. Peace. This wasn't goodbye. It was a reunion. Helen had gone to where she'd always hoped to be. And maybe, just maybe, at exactly 10 a.m., in a place beyond time, she finally met Thomas again. A week later, Taylor returned to the quiet coastal town. She had a small plaque placed on the balcony, simple and dignified. It read, "This balcony is dedicated to all hearts that waited faithfully, a lifetime long." That same day, Taylor released a new song, "The Balcony That Waited." The lyrics were drawn from Helen's letter, from the rain that morning, from the sound of waves beneath a silent chair. Within hours, the song had reached millions, and something stirred in every listener's heart. Social media lit up. The message was clear: lonely elders must not be forgotten. Hashtags like that for Helen, "Your one balcony, one life," and "Die, you are not alone," began trending across the globe. Thousands started volunteer groups in their own cities to support elderly neighbors, visiting, calling, remembering. Back in the seaside town, things remained quiet, but the balcony was no longer alone. At Taylor's request, each morning at 10 a.m., a local young person would sit there. Some brought books, some just watched the sky, some sat in silence, but all of them understood what that space meant. No one was waiting anymore, but someone would always be there for when someone came. Because some forms of waiting never truly end. Because loyalty isn't bound by clocks or calendars. And because sometimes a balcony is more than a structure. It's the voice of a heart that refused to be silenced. The belief one woman carried for a lifetime had finally spoken to the world.